Greetings, YouTube. Today we're taking a look at the CJRB kicker, and I still find that particular initialization to be very awkward. It's not an acronym because it doesn't spell a word, but it is an initialization. There's something about a 4-letter initialization that just doesn't roll off my tongue well. So, the thing that I caught my eye when I first got this was that lock, and that's the most common, that's the most obvious thing to me about sets this knife apart is this lock, and I'll get to that lock in a moment. We have two, this is kind of like a slate gray G10 scales, and they have a nice tooth on them. It almost has like a carbon fiber weave look, but it's textured, and it offers enough tooth that I can get this in and out of my pocket without any difficulty, whether my hand is bare or I'm wearing gloves at work. I wear gloves on my hands for protection from heat, so I need to be able to do that. We have a semi-open construction, nice centering. The width is not overly large, and it is not overly heavy. We have pretty standard pivots, though you can see it's got little bronze washers on the outside, which is a nice touch. I kind of like that look, that contrast. I think it goes well with the slate gray as well. Double position pocket clip, and seeing this is a flipper, and with the locking system I'm going to talk about in a minute, this makes this both a universal deployment and a universal clothing, which is awesome. So you can put this right hand and left hand. This is going to be equally welcoming to southpaws or right-handed folks, and it has a hole big enough for your paracord if you want to, and because of the way it's constructed, that's completely protected from the knife blade. You're not going to have to worry about your cutting your lanyard, which is great. Now, I am not a big fan of axis locks. I've never really made any bones about that in the past. I find them awkward because this action, when it comes to closing them, is not natural for me. I'm like this when it comes to flipping. When I'm holding, it's like this. So having to come up, choke up on the knife to pull back on an axis lock like this, I find very uncomfortable. It is not as quick as closing a knife that is a liner lock. But you'll notice that on my left hand is a brace, and this brace is not there just for aesthetics. Due to repetitive motion injuries at my job, my thumbs essentially don't operate anymore. And in fact, just yesterday while I was about to do some dishes, my thumb failed me enough that I dropped a heavy ceramic bowl and broke my favorite bowl in the sink. I was very distraught about that. It really was a lovely handmade bowl. Now it's trash. So my thumbs don't work. The right one works better than the left, though technically I should probably be wearing a brace on my right hand as well, but I just can't do that. It's too awkward. I need at least one hand that isn't covered by a brace. But this one goes all the way up to here, and it keeps my thumb from moving. And in fact, this allows me to sleep more easily because it keeps my thumb protected. So because of that, I need a knife that really is not going to use my thumbs a lot. That's where this comes into account. So we have a flipper, but if you can see, the flipper has a cutout. So this is actually an arc of metal. It is not a solid flipper. So you're deploying it. Sorry, this is an awkward position. There we go. When I'm I have my hand lying on a table, I can deploy that without a problem. And now you have fully functional axis lock, which you can in fact move like this and unlock it. So if you like that type of aspect to an axis lock, you're all set. And in theory, you're supposed to be able to do this. I can't. Again, because of the injuries to my hands, this motion is not comfortable for me. It causes me pain. However, I can do that. So I just come up on it, hook my fingernail over the top, and pull back, and I can snap it closed. Easy peasy. And this is the other thing I love about this knife. This is an awesome blade profile. It reminds me of the German Messer, which I love. And I really need to get my hands on a good quality Messer, like one of the, actual Middle Ages, medieval size Messers. I really love to own one of those. We have a flat grind, which I love. Comes to a secondary bevel. This up here is flat. Is just flat, and there is no swedging of any kind on this. It's a very clean, simple design, and it comes to a nice point, but without being weak. You got you have some decent strength there, which I appreciate. I love the way that parallels and it comes up to this clip point. This is just an awesome blade profile. I am absolutely in love with this thing as far as the shape of this. And it came out of the box with a really nice edge. And again, I go like this and I'm closed. So I can open and close this knife with one finger. That is awesome. My thumbs are not involved in the process in the least. Not to mention, it's a fully ambidextrous knife. Now the downside to this is right here. Yeah, you see that right there? The top screw is doing its job. The bottom screw is not. I am actually going to be ordering some new set screws off of Amazon so I can go replace that because I don't have any spare Torx set screws kicking around, and I really am hesitant to strip other knives of their set screws to, cannibalize them for this. So I'm going to order myself some so I can fix that. Because that's the only downside to this knife. This is a true deep pocket carry clip. It actually functions as a deep pocket carry clip, so it's really kind of pleasant. So very little of this shows in your pocket. When you got this in your pocket, that's all you're seeing. That little tiny shark fin. It really does disappear. And with this color, it blends in quite nicely against jeans. Of course, you have this clip visible, but I don't mind that. I don't hide the fact that I'm carrying a knife, but it's nice if you don't want to advertise it overly. If your deep pocket carry clip actually functions as a deep pocket carry clip. I love this thing. The kicker is my current daily carry because I can open and close it with one finger. And that means that I am not in pain opening and closing my knife. And I will admit, because of this design, and because you have your fingers like this, you're not in the path of the blade in the least, which is admittedly an issue with a liner lock. I'm so used to them, it isn't a problem for me, but it is an issue for some folks. They don't like having their finger in the path of a liner lock. And I completely understand that and accept it. Not every knife design is for every person. But this right here, the CJRB, that's so awkward. The kicker is just a beautiful design, and I really love this thing. The only downside for me is the belt, rather the pocket clip, and hopefully in the near future I'll be able to get some a better set screw in there, and then that will not be an issue any longer. If I cannot fix that, I will probably have a follow-up video about this. Maybe I can figure out a solution. Because again, this has been my everyday carry. I really like it. I kind of wish I could get a separate spacer in there though, just for fun. Maybe get an orange one just for contrast. Because why not? I guess I could buy an orange one. Swap out the insert. That's an option. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I love this thing. I'm really happy with my purchase. I carry it every day. And if you like the axis locks, you're all set. But if you're looking for something that is the functionality of an axis lock, but has a better deployment and closing system, in my opinion, definitely check out the CJRB kicker.